Food is a big part of cruising, and I love trying out new and unique foods while on my cruises, along with some old favorites. Ahoy, travelers! It's Amy with Cruising from the Ozarks here to help make your travel experience a success. We usually choose your time dining for our main dining room experience so that we can be flexible with our evening plans, and that is what we did on our Vista cruise as well. Carnival has recently changed up their menus with some fun additions, including Emerald Selects that give guests the option to choose an appetizer and main dish each evening, designed by Emerald Lagasse himself. Bam! Of course, there are dishes that are available every evening, like chicken and steak, along with extra pay options from the steakhouse and bonsai sushi. While I rarely choose to order more than one main dish, I do like to try out a couple of appetizers, especially if I'm getting something I'm not sure if I'm going to like or not. A cruise is a great place to try out dishes that you wouldn't otherwise because you've already paid for the food in the MDR. Carnival allows guests to order unlimited apps and desserts while 2 mains are included. If you want more than that, there's an upcharge of $5 for each additional main dish. On day 1, I went with the duck rolls and Emerald Selects crawfish strudel. Wasn't sure how well I was going to like the duck rolls, so I did want to back up. The duck rolls were good and the sauce was nice and spicy, but I was surprised that they were served cold. Basically, they're spring rolls. The crawfish was also good, but without the sauce, there really wouldn't have been a lot of flavor. I would get the duck rolls again, but I don't think I would have gotten the crawfish strudel again. For the entree, I chose to try the Szechuan shrimp. This dish isn't one that I would choose again. The noodles were nothing like I expected. They were fine, but odd. The shrimp looked like it should be crispy, but they weren't, and the flavor was just okay. Now, I love cheesecake, but this was not the best. It was room temperature, which I really didn't care for. Day 2 was the first elegant night in the MDR. I was excited to get to try escargot again, as the last time I'd had it was on my very first cruise in 2006. They were very good, not chewy at all, and great with the toast provided. I also got a second appetizer, just in case, and went with the cucumber basil avocado soup. I guess I should have realized it was going to be a cold soup, but I just really wasn't prepared for it. Plus, it was sweet. It's definitely not something I would get again. I went with the linguine alfredo for my main, and it was good, but definitely needed some salt. I would get it again, especially with the same menu, as there really wasn't a lot else on the menu for that night that I would have wanted to try out. I had the souffle for dessert and really didn't care for it. I've never tried souffle before, and I just don't think it's my kind of dessert. Day 3 was another sea day, and I decided to try out the West Indian pumpkin soup. And I also ordered a safety appetizer, since you really can't go wrong with a Greek salad. The salad was what I was expecting, but the pumpkin soup was really good, and I would get it again. I went with the chicken roulade, which is an Emerald Selects option. It was really good, both the chicken and the mashed potatoes, so I would definitely order those again. For dessert, I finally got the popular Carnival melting chocolate cake. It's probably my favorite dessert and definitely something I can rely on to be good. Go for 2 ice creams. Most people do, and it means that you have enough for every bite of cake. On our second elegant night, I got one of my favorite foods, fried calamari. It was good. There just really wasn't enough of it. Of course, it is just an appetizer. I also decided to try out the beef carpaccio, which was an Emerald Select option. Now, I had no idea this was going to be raw. I did not notice the asterisk next to it. Luckily, it didn't have any flavor, so I wasn't grossed out about it until I realized it was raw meat. Now, I knew tartare was raw, but I didn't know that carpaccio was. I will definitely not be getting it again. I got the crawfish fettuccine as my main. It was really good and actually full of crawfish. Sometimes trying to find the seafood in a pasta dish is like hide and seek. This was one of my favorite dishes of the cruise, and I will definitely be ordering that again. This was also lobster night, and no one at our table really wanted any, but I went ahead and ordered one for the table. I'm not a huge fan because I don't like sweet meat, but this wasn't as sweet as a lobster I've tried before. Our waiters kept bringing us more and more plates of lobster. I think the kitchen must have made way too much. For dessert, I tried some creme brulee for the first time. It was better than I thought it would be, but it was super sweet. maybe too sweet for my taste, and I didn't even think that was possible. Service in the MDR took forever on night 6. We were actually stuck there for 2 showtimes. I'm not a fan of showtimes, so I was not super happy about this. For my appetizer, I went with a smoked poblano and corn soup. It was spicy and pretty good, but I really wish I would have gone with the linguine and clams after I chose not to get them as my main dish. You will notice that some items are offered as both an appetizer and an entree, which is nice. I went with the smoked salmon for my main, but once again, wish I would have gone with the linguine. The salmon was just okay, but the dressing was way too sweet. I ended up only having a few bites of that salad. Thankfully, I did get a second main dish, the artichoke and potato cheesecake. It was fine, but there really wasn't a lot of flavor without the sauce, and there really wasn't enough sauce for all of the potato cheesecake. So I didn't finish that dish either. For dessert, I went with the tiramisu, which was very good, and probably my favorite dessert besides the melting cake. One of my favorite things is a relaxing sea day brunch, and I'm a little sad that I only made it there once during our cruise. They have quite a lot to choose from on their menu, from traditional breakfast foods to burgers. I went with the cheese grits. I knew I would like that, but I also decided to try Eggs Benedict for the first time. While I did like the eggs and salmon, I'm just not a fan of English muffins. I think it would have been better on rye toast. One of my favorite things about brunch is getting to eat dessert for breakfast, and the 7-layer chocolate cake is pretty good. Now, Guy's Burgers is a hot spot on Carnival, and they dish out around 30,000 Guy's Burgers a day across their line, so I know I'm not the only one who loves getting lunch at Guy's. My go-to is the pig patty, which includes lettuce, tomato, onion, and pickle, along with super melty cheese and a patty made out of crispy bacon. I like to also add some donkey sauce to it for some spice. And the fries at Guy's are seasoned perfectly. We chose to forego the MDR one night and got pizza instead. Hot and fresh, they have several options to choose from like cheese, pepperoni, mushroom, and more. If you're spending some time relaxing on the Serenity deck, you might want to try out their salad bar, Fresh Creations. Mom really enjoyed this option during sea days. I tried it out and they had just about everything you could want on your salad. I didn't get mine until right before they closed, and not everything was as cold as I would have liked, but it was on a really hot day. Let me know in the comments which of these would be something you'd try and which would you avoid. What's your favorite Guy burger? Why not stick around and check out this video and then come back for more information designed to help you have an amazing cruise. Have a blessed week, everyone.